Hi, everybody. We are the Flat Ride team, and the name of our attraction is Mechatron Ready for Launch. So before we get into all of the specifics for the Flat Ride, I just wanted to do a big thanks to David Edmonds, who was our mentor for this project. He really helped with our story and making sure everything was great creatively with all of the aspects. So thanks, David. And then for intros, hi, I'm Bailey. I'm a fourth year mechanical engineering student at Georgia Tech, and I am super thrilled to be the team lead of this project.
Hi, my name is Carly Smith. I worked on the creative development and mechanical design of this attraction. I am a third year mechanical engineering student at the University of Texas at Austin with a certificate in design strategies.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jake Plucker. I am a senior at the University of Notre Dame studying mechanical engineering. And on this project, I served as a mechanical designer and also focused in on the analysis of our ride.
Hi, everyone. My name is Michael Jahamareki. I'm a civil engineering major at Purdue University, and I'm going to be a third year. And I worked on the BIM related and CAD work and assisted with the creative development as well.
My name is Spencer McMillan. I worked as a mechanical designer and concept artist for this project. I'm a mechanical engineering student at Virginia Tech, and I'm currently in my 5th year.
Hi, my name is Jenixa Rodriguez. I am in my 3rd year of mechanical engineering in Arizona State University in Ohio, and I have been working with the creative development and storytelling. So now Spencer will be talking about our inspiration.
So the aesthetic of this park uses an art style called retrofuturism, which is a style inspired by depictions of the future from past eras. And we chose this aesthetic because while some of these past depictions of the future may seem a bit silly today, they came at a time of optimism and wonder for what the future could hold. Our goal is this aesthetic will transport guests into a world of similar emotions, inspiring and exciting them about a world of whimsical technology and possibilities. And now Yunitsa will walk us through our story, accompanied with some concept art.
Okay, here is the poster of our attraction, and it was done by Emily from the marketing team. So now let's start with the journey. First, guests enter a reception area with an exhibition of several prototypes of different technologies and alien experiments done by different species throughout the years. A window in the ceiling shows little flying robots and are heading to a door, allowing the guests to enter their secret spot. Following these creatures, guests walk through a hallway with doors and windows that shows various lab rooms and with technological spacecraft from different species. At the end of the hallway, guests start to have encounters with guardians who wear interesting looking space outfits. In that area, they can play with hands-on experiments, such as a big wall that lights up according to the level of force. The ceiling lights and lasers conduct guests to the mission control area, which is inside a super galactic spaceship with computers and windows, creating the illusion that guests are on the way to another galaxy. Doors open and guests walk to the first floor. They are informed that they will embark on a journey through using the technology of the first spacecraft. In this zone, guests have the opportunity to explore the training area that consists of 2 rotors. While this happens, the people in the cafe can enjoy the view of the super galactic spaceship, rotors, and everything that is happening. After the ride, guests go up a ramp that takes them through a cafe and shop where they can purchase souvenirs from their trip on the first type of spacecraft technology. So now Carly will be talking more about our attraction.
So this image here shows a look at the ride area from a point earlier in the queue. So on the right, there's our mission control tower, and from there, guests enter into the rotors and then go out the exit. But while they're in the rotors, through a combination of projection mapping and practical special effects, a portal opens up in the ceiling and additional spaceships fly around above them, creating the illusion that they are taking off into space. Here is another view of the ride area, this time from the perspective of within the control tower. So here guests are sorted into groups and prepped for their mission. Our ride vehicle, the Mechatron, was the first ever winner of the Galactic Advancements of Technology Expo, or GATE, and guests can conquer the original technology. It is a chance for guests to look back in time and see how far technology has come, as well as inspire them to look into the future and imagine what could come next. Next, we'll be talking about our layout. So our attraction takes place in an underground bunker, which includes the ride area, a retail shop, and a cafe. The guests in the cafe can look over the ride area through some windows. And the color gradient in this map here shows the elevation of the ride and of the queue as the guests go along. These will be in the form of ramps. So while it goes up and down in elevation, it is still accessible to everyone. Guests enter the Mechatron from the left side of the screen there through that gray entrance. They then progress through the queue, through the rotunda, and into a showcase where they can see all of the different space travel techniques from over the years. They then progress into a Mechatron exhibit, which goes over the history and the mechanics of the actual ride itself, which features some interactive hands-on elements. They then go down some ramps and enter the staging area and ride the ride itself, and then exit through some ramps and through the gift shop. In addition, there is a maintenance area underneath the ride area, which provides easy access to the mechanical systems that make the ride work. And here are some of our emergency exits. So the guests can always access an exit no matter where they are in the building. There is one location where we have stairs, but there is an alternate method that is just ramps, so it is accessible to everyone. Next, I'll hand it over to Michael to talk some more about our layout.
So yeah, this is sort of like a bird's eye view of our attraction that highlights how each of our rotors and rooms will fit the building space that our attraction is housed in. So the red line shows the entrance path that the guests will take as they queue through the attraction, passing through the rooms that Carly just talked about. And then in the loading area, you can see that guests will have the option to choose which rotor they will decide to ride. And then the blue line shows the exit path that the guests will take as they leave the attraction and pass on to the cafe and the retail areas on the other side. And now I'm going to talk a little bit more about the spaceship technologies we are going to be displaying throughout the attraction. So the first ship I'll talk about is on the left, is known as the W-Wing, and it was developed by a nomadic alien species that inhabit asteroids and other small celestial objects. Hence, the spacecraft has a small and compact design that allows it to weave in and around space debris. And that blue streak that you see in the front is actually a laser that can cut through small objects that stand in the immediate way of the ship. The ship on the right is known as the Speed Ring. It was developed on a planet with large swaths of uninhabited land between settlements. So although the spacecraft is capable of interplanetary travel over short distances, the ship is really optimized for speedy and efficient travel over long distances, hence the aerodynamic design. And then on this slide, the ship on the left is just simply known as the Wheel. And fun fact, it was developed on a planet with the largest known radius in the observable universe. So it has 3 rings that rotate around a central cockpit. It generates rotational energy that the spacecraft converts to thrust that allows it to escape the strong gravitational pull of this planet. Because like I mentioned, it's very, very large, and it enables it to travel between other planets. And moreover, the ship is on a desert planet, as you can see in the concept art. And then the ship on the right is known as the Pod, and it was developed by an alien species with a very similar DNA structure to plants. So the central globe-like area serves as a greenhouse that can store vast quantities of plant life in addition to other alien species that may be on board. And it can sustain those plant life forms over long distance space travel. Another fun fact about the ship is that it actually has the ability to execute interplanetary pollination. So it can store those seeds and DNA of plant species and transport them to other planets, as well as provide them an environment to crossbreed and create newer plant species. And now I'll be handing it off to Spencer, who will be talking about more of the spacecrafts on display.
All right, so the two ships here are primarily used on the ocean planet, and the ship on the left that looks a bit like an electric razor is called the Hammerhead, and this ship is primarily used for underwater missions, though it also has the capability to perform in the air, as well as short interplanetary missions to other water planets. And the ship on the right is called the Hydrocraft, and this ship uses water as its source of fuel to travel more efficiently, and can store large amounts of water in its tank to cover space travel. And now we'll move on to the flat ride. Mechatron is a modernized version of the classic and popular flat ride, the rotor. Here's our 3D model, and next we'll show you a guest perspective.
Welcome, humans. We hope you have enjoyed the showcase of all the spacecraft used over the years. You now have the great honor of journeying aboard the first ever space travel technology, the Mechatron. This technology may seem primitive now, but was cutting edge when first invented. That is why it was the winner of the first Galactic Advancements in Technology Expo. So as you board, please find a space against the wall, feel free to strike a pose and get ready for an unforgettable journey.
Now, the rotor is a ride in which guests enter a large cylindrical drum and lean against the walls. When the ride starts, the rotor rotates at a significantly forceful speed, and guests are stuck to the walls due to the centripetal force. But to add to the intensity, the floor of the rotor drops while guests stay suspended in the air, stuck to the walls. And after about a minute, the floor rises and the rotor slows down. This model shown here is the drum and the outside of the adult rotor, complete with a 10-foot ceiling, a 32-foot diameter, a top speed of 27.9 RPM, and a floor drop height of 3 feet. And now Jake, I'll pass it over to Jake, and he'll run through the specs and calculations of our ride.
Thank you, Spencer. So to start things off, we also looked into ASTM F2291 in order to ensure that our acceleration limits would comply for the safety of our guests. And so starting from this graph, we picked a point that would give us some space towards the outside. And so we targeted a maximum G-force in the X direction of 4 Gs and a max in the Y of 1 G as well. The total duration of our ride, we targeted for 90 seconds with our maximum rotation happening for the middle 30 seconds of the ride. We also determined, based on analysis of old models, that a floor drop of 3 feet over that second interval of 30 seconds was ideal for the excitement of the guests throughout their ride. Capacity-wise, we can fit 30 riders per rotor comfortably, and with the 90-second ride time and a 45-second unload/load time, we were able to achieve 800 riders per hour. We'll jump into some of the calculations on this next slide. Oh, okay. There it is. All righty. So jumping into a few of the calculations, I don't want to bore you guys with numbers and math, but basically this is some rotational physics that we use to calculate what our maximum rotational speed would need to be, as Spencer mentioned, at 27.93, as well as the necessary torque required for our motor. And so with this maximum free running speed of 28 RPM and a maximum torque of 39,400 foot-pounds, we were able to go and look into speccing the motor that'll drive the rotation of this rotor. So looking at SEW Eurodrive, we found the helical gear motor to be our best option. This one we found achieves a 43,000 foot-pound stall torque and a free running speed of 33 RPM both with a factor of safety above the needed numbers. We'll be using a friction coupling to mount the output shaft of the motor to the rotor platform itself, and operating with three-phase electric power is going to enable us to maintain the necessary output torque we need at all times. The next element required for this ride, right, is that floor drop. And so in order to withstand the weight of all these people, but also the entire floor, we were looking for some heavy-duty linear actuators. So the linear actuator shown here has a 3-foot max stroke, and it is able to drop at 10 inches per second. Our ride is only needing 8.4 inches per second, and so once again, that gives us that factor of safety. These motors are also capable of withstanding 4.5 thousand pounds force at that max stroke length of 36 inches. And so between our 6 actuators on the ride, it'll easily cover that 16,750 pound weight study we performed. And then I think I'll pass it back to Bailey now.
Yes, we're having some slow delays here, but yeah, so let's go into some safety explanation here. So as we kind of mentioned earlier, we wanted to hit a lot of the safety, and Sarah from the safety team, who will be presenting more tomorrow, really helped us out with what we were trying to hit with this. And so with the ASTM F2291, we decided to stick with section 6 and section 7. So section 6 talks about the restraints. And so we're an unrestrained vehicle because the guests are just standing against the wall, and then it's the forces that are keeping them there. So with this, we kind of had to look to the past of past rotors and gravitrons that have done this. And so we say they're service proven systems, so we're okay to do how they've been doing it. And with that, we kind of had our wall height at 10 feet. We saw that a couple of them had around 7 feet for their wall height, but we wanted to add a little bit more for that safety aspect. And then for section 7, the acceleration limits, here we have 2 graphs where you can see the front back acceleration, which is what is holding the person against the wall as it gets up to that, is just below 4 Gs. And then for the Y acceleration, which is like what's happening when you're spinning up and then speeding back down, is only at 1 G. And for ADA, so we are not an ADA approved attraction itself, just because the guests would have to stand up during that time, but we are an ADA approved building and queue space. So if the guests wanted to travel with their family and get that experience, but then just wait for them in the cafe or the retail space, they totally can. And so with that, we have a clear space for the hallways of 5 feet, giving ample room to move about. And then all of our ramps have a slope of 112 throughout the building. And then for the Florida building code, kind of similar stuff with the 5 feet and the ramp slope of 112. But we also, as you can see on the right, have all of our exits marked, and all of them lead directly to public access. So they're not just trying to wander around in case of emergency. They have a clear place to go. So yeah, with that, we're going to watch a quick exit video of our attraction.
Welcome back. Wow, that was a crazy experience. Can you believe how far space travel technology has come? Well, now you can say with pride that you have conquered the first ever spacecraft technology. Thank you for joining us here at Mechatron Ready for Launch. We hope you will enjoy the rest of your time here at the Expo.
Level completed.
Awesome. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and big thank you to management for helping us through this whole process, and to the great team that helped put this together, and to all the mentors that were able to give some touch points on this. So thank you guys so much. We had a blast putting it together.